Bill Waters, player agent, former general manager of Team Canada, joining us again. Bill, are you surprised that Canada has won 2 games in a row?
Well, I don't want to say that I'm surprised because I'm pleased, but had you asked me that Wednesday, I would have said I was surprised. But they obviously played very well again on Friday in the Gardens, and as Darcy's pointed out, goaltending is terribly important, as we were discussing Thursday. If they can keep close to the Soviets midway through the game, and again, the 8 games in 12 night factor will enter into it. So hopefully some fresh legs and good goaltending will keep us in for a 3rd victory.
Brett, once again, new faces in the lineup tonight. What does it do to the team unity that's been gelling in the last 2 victories?
Well, I think because of the number of players I've had already through the roster change, I don't think it's going to make much of a difference. I think it's going to be a new incentive for the individuals who haven't played, like Dave Anderson and people of that nature. So it's going to be an interesting game, but we had the fresh legs could be a definite advantage over the Soviets.
All right, gentlemen, thank you very much. Bill and Brett will be talking to you a little later on during the hockey game. The Calgary Saddledome has always been very, very good to the Olympic hockey team program, and we'll have to hope that it's going to continue to be good to the team tonight in Game 8 against Moscow Dynamo, getting underway right after this.
Out of the darkness there's a light, let it shine on through.
Till tomorrow brings the dawn in this magic view.
There will
right here on the Sports Network.
Darryl Frickello.
John Wells along with Darcy Rhoda. We're at the Saddledome, the Olympic Saddledome in Calgary, and Team Canada 85 prepares for game number 8 against the Moscow Dynamo. Canada winning the last 2 games in the series after the Dynamo had won the opening 5. So we look forward to this one, Darcy.
It should be an excellent hockey game, John, and I'm looking forward to the 8 new players that Canada have in their lineup for tonight's game, and I know talking with them today that they're very excited about the opportunity to play the Soviet Union.
As far as Team Canada is concerned, we have mentioned on earlier telecasts that this is the first assessment for Team Canada 88. It's Team Canada 85, but Dave King is scouring the land looking for the best possible players who might be available for that Olympic year, the all-important Olympic year, and of course it'll be right here in this building.
It is a very early look right now, but the players are putting out, giving it 100%, and Dave King is very happy with that.
As far as Team Canada is concerned, the 2 victories over the Moscow Dynamo have been rather convincing in some ways. In Ottawa, it was a fairly substantial margin, but in Toronto, a very close game. I thought Team Canada played extremely well in the game at Maple Leaf Gardens in particular, Darcy.
It was an excellent game, Game 7, and the goaltending have been just super throughout this series, and in order for us to win tonight, the goaltender, Tracolo, has to play great.
All right, at center ice at the Saddledome in Calgary, we're awaiting the official opening ceremonies to this Game 8 in the series.
And the Esso Medal of Achievement winner, 11-year-old Corey Thomas.
During the series, Esso has been selecting and highlighting young hockey players across Canada, and Corey from the Parkland Pee-wees in the Calgary area.
And Dave Simpson, please come to center ice for the ceremonial face-off and gift exchange.
They should be getting this down pretty pat, Darcy. They've done it 7 times.
This is the,
yes, that's right. Ceremonial puck.
Corey doesn't know what to do. There, he's got it right.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Simpson and Golikov, little slapstick comedy down there.
Well, it's the 8th time they faced off, and Dave's won all 8 now.
Rise for the national anthems.
Союз неразрушимый, республик свободных, Ладина надежды, великая Русь, наш здравствует создание волей народов, единый могучий Советский Союз.
Olympic Saddledome in Calgary. This is the home of Canada's Olympic hockey team. There's extensive training facilities for the team within the building, and this is where the team will headquarter on a full-time the city of Calgary beginning next year. Starting goaltender for Team Canada will be Daryl Trakalo as you watch the Soviets Moscow Dynamo team roll by. Vasily Davidov, the head coach of the team. And there's young Daryl Trakalo. He celebrated his 22nd birthday with a victory. In goal for the Soviets, it'll be Mikhail Vasilnuk. His goals against average is .381. He's the veteran of the Soviet goaltending tandem at 36 years old. Some new players for Canada defensively. There are 3 new defensemen lining up in their first appearance for Canada. Near the bottom of the order, 22 McLaren, 26 Ramsey, and 27 Anderson are all new members of Team Canada. In total, 8 players will see first action for the Team Canada 85 at Calgary in Game 8. The referee is Jim Beckman, and the rest of the officiating staff, Mark Nerland and Dan Emerson. Now, Dan Emerson is a very tall linesman, Darcy. I have no idea how tall he is, but he's got to be over 6'6".
He's the tallest person on the ice, John. Be anxious to see whether or not the Soviet Union play the 5 combination they did in Toronto in Game 7. They did not play 4 players all game.
Here's some of the University of Alberta players who will be lining up for Team Canada. Tim Krug, Harry Proffitt, and Dennis Cranston. And also from the University of Calgary, Brent Meckling and Paul Geddes, number 6 and 22. From Colorado College, Doug Clark on defense, number 4. From the University of Denver, Ian Ramsey and Dave Anderson. And from the University of Wisconsin, Victor Poza, along with Scott Mellenby, number 19. All those players are added to Team Canada's roster for the first time in the series, and we'll expect some interesting matchups as they take on the Soviets' Moscow Dynamo for the first time. Dynamo around Vasilnuk. He played in Maple Leaf Gardens in Game 7 of this series, and Vasilnuk came up a 4-3 loser on that particular occasion. We're just about ready for the face-off. All the official festivities out of the way, and this is the Saddledome in Calgary, home of the Calgary Flames. And 3 years and a couple of months from now, it will be the scene of the 1988 Olympic Games, and some young members of this Team Canada aggregation will be taking part in the Olympic Games representing Canada. For the Soviets, Garutnov in with a blistering shot, and Trakalo the save. Good save by Trakalo on Garutnov. It's down to the Soviet zone. After it down there is Mike Ridley, number 14 for Canada. Canadian team very aggressive in the last couple of games. We'll see what they've got in mind in this one. This is Ridley coming around from behind. Can't sweep it in front. Here come the Soviets, led by Vazikov. Over on the left side for Garutnov. He couldn't handle it. In behind his own goal for Canada. Tim Krug, number 2. Ahead for Ridley. He let it go by for Newell Brown. Brown over to an open right wing. And in across the line for Canada, Darren Lowe. Lowe couldn't control it in the Soviet zone. Now offside called against Team Canada. That time it was Paul Geddes poking it in with Darren Lowe caught in across the Soviet line.
Good look at Paul Geddes from Calgary. He's playing his first game tonight for Team Canada, and he's got a big black eye there that he suffered playing for University of Calgary the other night.
Face-off is into the Soviet zone. Back for Michalchuk ahead on the left side. And for Canada, Benoit Doucette called offside at the Canadian line. There's your pal Davidov.
He's quite an interesting character. He's got a nice personality, and he always seems to have a few words for me at practice.
Any advice?
He just says no coach needed for this team.
And Captain Canada Dave King just down the way from the Soviets bench. Face off in the Canadian zone. Golikov takes a shot, and it's deflected high over the glass. Face off will be in the Team Canada zone.
Dave King's been very happy with the output of his players so far, and after tonight's game we've used 47 players that are vying for Olympic spots.
And there's a few more to come in the final 2 games of the series. Trakalo hanging on to that one. The shot from Michalchuk. Really a weak drive, but there were Soviets around Trakalo that time, so he decided to hang on in the Team Canada net. Both teams now decide wholesale changes are in order. There's the captain, Vladimir Golikov. He has 3 goals and 4 assists for 7 points in the series so far. 30-year-old captain of the Moscow Dynamo.
He's been very impressive throughout. He played the 1981 Canada Cup.
Face-off is to the left of Trakalo, and goal for Canada. Head on the right side for Dave Anderson, 27. It's out across the line. Ian Ramsey for Canada now. Working out in front. It's back to the pointer, headed in that direction. It didn't get quite through to Brent Muckling. And the Soviets on the attack once more. Prirote, number 27, man out in front. And Akulinen was there, couldn't take a pass. Head on the left side for Dave Simpson. Back across the Soviet line. Gordon. Head on the right side for the Moscow Dynamo. In behind his own goal, Brent Muckling. And we have a whistle. Timeout at the Saddle Dome in Calgary. Scoreless in the first. John Wells along with Darcy Rhoda. This is the Saddle Dome in Calgary. And the formal name is the Olympic Saddle Dome. Built as a home for the Calgary Flames in one sense, Darcy, but also much of the funding to make that possible was because of the 1988 Olympic Games here in Calgary. Just over 3 years away now. Play from the center ice area. Flipped into the Soviet zone. Payuzov, number 2, ahead on the right side. This is Antipov. Antipov stopped, fired it wide. Right out in front, deflected just wide of the net. Slipchenko, number 24, fired that one for the Soviets. Team Canada to the attack once more. Led this time by Dennis Cranston. Cranston into the corner and around behind the net. Picked up over there by Tim Krug. Soviets regaining possession in their own zone. Right wing pass on the far side for Zubrilchev. He's ridden out of the play. Into the corner for Canada, Barry Propp, number 7. Round behind the boards for Darren Lowe, 21. Into the center ice zone where the Soviets take control once more. Is Varianov, number 12. Now Skurdek. Still with the puck, Skurdek to the Canadian line and across, getting set, gets ready for the shot. Trakalo, the save. Canadian team defense seemed to lull to sleep there for a moment, thinking Skurdek would likely pass it off.
Big save by Trakalo, and when the Soviets are circling in the end, you've got to make sure you don't back up too much, and that's what happened here. Skurdek came in, and the Canadian defense backed up too far, but Trakalo made a great glove save.
Couple of big saves for Darryl Trakalo already. Face off to his left in the Canadian zone. 16:29 to play in the opening period. Still scoreless at the Saddle Dome. Harry Propp for Canada. Propp into the center ice area, taken by Mike Ridley. Ridley gets it ahead. And at the Soviet line, broken up neatly. Canada in possession, neutral territory. This is Ridley over on the left side for Newell Brown. Brown tried to get it ahead for Darren Lowe. Soviets start back. Varianov over on the left side. This is for Rudnov. Rudnov hasn't taken out his stick. Now claims it once more. Out to the points. Vazikov, the shot, the save. Back to Vazikov once more. Winds up with a shot. Trakalo once more. And already several big saves for Darryl Trakalo.
Trakalo looks very sharp tonight. His parents drove all the way from Winnipeg for this game.
Quite a few parents around. Watching aspiring members of Team Canada. Into the Canadian zone, Francois Sills leaves it there for Benoit Doucette. Line mates for Team Canada, line mates at the University of Moncton. Canadians in the center ice area. Doucette couldn't handle the pass. Semenov for the Soviets for Mikulchik. And quickly ahead for Zubrilchev at the Canadian line. Balderas tried to get it through for Golikov. Golikov couldn't claim it. This is Francois Sill, number 11 for Canada. Sill leaving it there for Doug Clark. He wears number 4. Now Brent Meckling along the boards, working there with Paul Geddes. And they hold it for a face-off. The Team Canada zone. 14:48 to play in period 1. Still scoreless in Calgary. Face-off in the Canadian zone to the left of Trakalo this time. Akulinen got the draw for the Soviets in around behind the Canadian goal. He's ridden out. Now ahead on the right side for Team Canada. This is Dave Anderson. Anderson can't get it out of the Canadian zone. Jammed along the boards and held there. Now flipped in behind the net. Serge Roy after it for Canada. Roy going against Clea Roden, number 27 for the Moscow Dynamo, right out in front. And it was claimed there by Dave Anderson. Anderson had it taken off his stick by Clea Roden. Soviets trying to control in the Canadian zone. This is Sashov. He lost it. Into the center ice area. Head on the right side. Intended for Anderson. And now the left side. Working in Serge Roy. Roy ridden out of the play by Vazikov. Soviets quickly to the attack. Over on the right side. Sashov winds up with a shot. That off the skate. And well wide of Trakalo in the Canadian goal. Akulinen for the Soviets. In behind his own line. Payusov now. Soviets changing on the go. Long pass on the right side. And just a little bit too far for Zabrelchev. Icing called against the Moscow Dynamo.
Well, the Soviets had their fourth line out there that did not play in Game 7 in Toronto, and they had a very good shift there. So it looks like right now that the Dynamo will go with 4 lines.
He was 3 the other night at Maple Leaf Gardens.
Get a look at Victor Pozar, a draft choice this year from University of Wisconsin, and what we understand, he'll go very high this year.
And he's in his first game for Team Canada, along with schoolmate Scott Mellanby, number 19. Mellanby is out there right now. Mellanby with a puck. Forced off it along the boards. Now the Soviets to the attack. Lots of skating room for Antipov. Team Canada defense standing up well, clearing it to the center ice area. Mellanby is after it. Worked against Slipchenko that time. Soviets led now by Zabrelchev, number 18. Zabrelchev working himself right out in front. Good save by Trakalo. As Zabrelchev skated right in front of the Canadian goal. Now for Canada, Von Karpen. Karpen takes a return pass. This shot right on the save by Vasselnuk. Canadians after it in the Soviet zone. Cleared to the open wing by the Dynamo, Zabrelchev. Back to his own line for Payuzov. He hasn't taken off his stick. And Newell Brown skates in. 17 for Canada. Brown cleared it right to the front of the goal. Vasselnuk to save. And the face-off will be in Dynamo territory.
Good shift by Canada there. They've got so many new players in the lineup, John. When you've got new players, they've struggled a little bit offensively. The main thing is go out there and talk. Communication is such a big thing.
Well, Dave King has had a very happy crew with Team Canada. No doubt about that. Big save here.
Zubachев cuts in. Big save by Trakalo.
Faceoff comes outside the Soviet line. Perutnov. After it, he was steered off the puck by Meckling, number 6. Trakalo had to come out and cover up on that one. Good play by Brent Meckling. He's from the University of Calgary, just 20 years old. One of 8 new players in the Canadian team lineup. For this, the 8th game in the Moscow Dynamo series. Soviets lead the series 5 wins to 2. They won the opening 5 games. Canada has won 2 in a row in Ottawa and in Toronto. Into the Soviet zone. After it is Sills. And beating him to the puck, Popikin. Cleared ahead on the right side. Back forward is Tim Krug for Canada. Krug plays it behind for Doucette. Back for the Soviets, Popikin. Can't clear it out of his own zone. This is Sills to Doucette. Doucette couldn't get a shot away. Now Skurduk for the Soviets. With Feradukin on the left. Skurduk stops in across the line, fires it in behind the goal. Marianov back there, cleared it out in front. And Doucette for Canada. Continues his aggressive play. Now ahead for Sills. Sills tried the left wing pass for Geddes, and Geddes was a stride offside. Still scoreless, opening period in Calgary. Faceoff will be just outside the Soviet line. From there, it's cleared in across the Canadian blue line and back for it. is Perry Propp. Propp stopping behind his own net. He's from Barhead, Alberta, currently playing with the University of Alberta Golden Bears. Break for the Soviets in across the line. This is Balderas. Balderas into the corner. Stops and feeds it back to the point. Getting set for the shot back there. It's in. Good shot by Michalchek, number 16. And it seemed to hit something and deflect high into the goal.
Fine shot by Michalchek there. The Canadians did not force the Michalchek at all. No one came to him. He just walked in, and just teed her up and let her fly. You've got to force him at the blue line there, and he noticed he just could walk in all alone and just tee that baby up, and then might have been screened a bit. Trakalo on that goal.
So it's 1-0 for the Moscow Dynamo. This is game 8 of the series. Good scoring opportunity for the Soviets once more. Left alone in front of the Canadian net, and the Soviets come up with it. Working right in, this time great save by Trakalo. Out in front, loose puck once more, and Trakalo on Perrotin. Big save as the Soviets had moved. Michalchek has the goal, and it's tied up along the, or in the mesh behind Trakalo. 8:58 the time of the goal.
That's Michalchek's first goal of this series, and he's also leading the penalties in this tournament with 12 minutes. 20 years old, kind of a feisty guy that sticks his nose in the action.
10 minutes, 31 seconds to play in the opening period. This is the Saddledome in Calgary. And from the faceoff, the Soviets. Slipchenko into the Canadian zone. Back for it, Meckling. Meckling for Canada. Played it back around behind his own net and takes a return pass now. Meckling, good pass at the blue line. And ahead of the left wing, Canada on the attack, but the Soviets back quickly to cover up. That's Antipov, number 25. See how quickly the Soviets can turn it around. Going in this time, and Ferrov into the corner. Picked up there by Zaprelchev. And for Canada, it's Doug Clark. Looking for someone on the left side. No one was there. Soviets back. Slipchenko into the center ice zone once more. Slipchenko ahead for Ferrov, and Ferrov across the line. And he left it there for Slipchenko, number 24. This is another Soviet goal as Zaprelchev worked in number 18 and went to the backhand on Trakalo.
Oh, the Soviets move the puck so well here. Goes to Zubachев in the corner here. Makes a nice little move. The Canadian defender goes down. He throws it high in the top corner to beat Trakalo. The Canadians are not forcing the Soviets. They've got to get on them much more quicker. Makes a nice move and throws it high over the glove.
Canadian defense looked to be a little sleepy on that play, Darcy. They let Zaprelchev work in quite close, and he went to the backhand when he got there. So it's 2-0 for the Moscow Dynamo, leading Team Canada. 9:34 to play in period 1. Another Soviet attack here. Rutnov takes the shot. Trakalo, the save. And Team Canada starts back. Pass ahead on the right side. This is Darren Lowe over to the left side for Newell Brown. Brown into the corner. And ridden off the puck by Vazikov, number 4. Skurduk gets it out across the Soviet blue line. Canada claims it there. Newell Brown in across the line. Brown waiting for his opportunity. Ahead for Darren Lowe behind the net. Lowe can't come up with it. Soviets move quickly once more. Vazikov ahead to Skurduk. Skurduk open in front. Trakalo the save and covered up quickly. Skurduk was alone out in front for that shot, but couldn't come up with it. Trakalo had it covered.
Nice play here by Vozakov in front. Trakalo makes a big save.
And back to the live action now. The Soviets got the draw, but Team Canada comes out of its own zone. Going right in, Sills. Couldn't, or rather Doucette couldn't get the shot away as Basilnuk was down. Dynamo can't control it in the center ice area. This is Perry Proft from the University of Alberta, dumped into the Soviet zone by Geddes, number 20. Soviets claim it back there. 2 quick goals by the Moscow Dynamo. They lead it 2-0 with 8:13 to play in the first period.
Right now, the Canadians have a tough time getting anything going offensively. They got to get the puck in deep there, bump the body, because the Soviets are very vulnerable when you can get on them and press them. You look at Francois Sills. He's the leading goal getter for Team Canada with 7, a University of Moncton student.
And his line mate and partners had a pretty good series as well. That's Benoit Doucette. 6 goals and 4 assists for 10 points.
They've been the most productive forwards on Team Canada throughout this series.
In the face-off circle, Dave Simpson, the Team Canada captain. Simpson got the draw, but not back to a Canadian player as the Soviets, led by Prirodin, start back. Prirodin shot well wide. This is Akulinen, number 8, working along the boards. Lost it to Simpson, but Prirodin is in to dig it out for the Soviets once more. Around from behind, Mikkelchek. Still has the puck, working himself out in front. The shot right on, the save by Trakalo. Into the corner for Canada. Doug Clark around behind his own goal. And Canada with Anderson clearing it into the Soviet zone. That's number 27, Dave Anderson. Shadow on the Soviet defender by Dave Simpson. Anderson, number 27, a good check on Soviet player in behind the play. Falling down in Farah, but he got the pass away anyway. Trakalo taken out of the play as far as Canada was concerned. Unfortunately, Soviets did not have a good scoring opportunity because of it. Scott Mellenby along the boards, and they hold it there for a face-off right in front of the Canadian team bench.
This Soviet line just came off the ice. As I mentioned earlier, did not play in Toronto. Get a look at Mr. Roy. Played very well for Team Canada. And I feel like anybody that plays in the National Hockey League doesn't play much, they get a chance to play. They want to prove to their coach they can play. Good look at the good hit here by Dave Anderson, the younger brother Glenn Anderson from the Edmonton Oilers.
And Glenn Anderson was a member of the Canadian Olympic team a couple of years back. That was 1980. And on the right side for Canada, this is Serge Roy, number 3, going in. Roy into the corner for Mellenby. Mellenby tried to work it out in front. Comes up with it again, back to the point. Good pass back there for Krug. Krug shot blocked by the Soviets. And there's a penalty coming up, and it'll go against the Moscow Dynamo. So Team Canada will have its first power play opportunity.
Slipchenko will go off for 2 minutes for